hustled, you know, when you were in school and done different things, but now it's just for real. This is your job. This is how you're going to pay your mortgage, pay your rent, you know, the whole deal. You go out to sell this training. You don't know anything about these companies. I mean, you'd like to work for them,
yep.
Right? So how'd it go when you first started? What'd you learn when you went out there pounding the pavement?
Yeah, I mean,
it was a life.
I mean, you learn pretty quickly that you don't know anything, right? And that's humbling and humiliating, and you learn quickly what it is that you need to do to make a difference for these people who are buying whatever it is they're buying for.
Do you think you knew that before you first called or after you first called? Did you learn it once you start calling on people and you go, God, I know less than that?
I think, you know, you're riding on the ego the first couple calls, and then after a while you realize then you figure out what you have to do to be successful and be a little more scrappy about it.
So how do you figure that out? Because you can do things wrong, but process of elimination takes a long time. You don't necessarily randomly get to what's right.
Yeah, I mean, this was a largely commission job, so you don't screw up for too long when you got to pay bills and feed yourself. So you learn pretty quickly, and just being in it, kind of sink or swim.
So what were those early lessons you learned?
I think that one of the earliest sales lessons that I learned was product mastery is probably the most important thing. You can be persuasive, you can follow sales methodologies and do those things, but if people don't trust that you know more about their problem than they do, they're just not going to buy it.
So how'd you develop that? So, because I mean, these are obviously companies that have fairly sophisticated companies.
Yeah.
So how'd you get smarter on what they needed to do? That they
soaked up everything I could. Reading, same thing that got me into technology in the first place, just curiosity. I wanted to learn everything I could, until the point where they can consider me kind of an expert in the field.
Interesting. So you start selling there. You're at so you're out there selling. How long did it take before? I know you were very successful there ultimately. How long did it take you to really hit the inflection point of being able to be as productive at that level of productivity?
Yeah. I think, and I've experienced this a few times. I think it takes about 3 years to really get good at something. Maybe more like 5 to really master it.
So about 3 years, start getting good. 5, you master it.
Yeah.
And I understand you were the top rep there for a while.
Yeah. And that was around the same time I started getting a little disinterested. Was you kind of mastered it, and it's the challenge kind of wears off, and that was kind of on the next thing after that.
So where were you with them? You started in Southern California.
Started in Southern California. We opened a new office in Las Vegas. So I moved to Las Vegas on my 21st birthday.
How was living in Las Vegas?
A lot different than you'd think. It was actually a really cool city to live in at the time. This was before the housing bust and a bunch of that stuff. So I had a blast, but it's a good transitional place. It's probably not a place you settle down.
And then where did you go through that?
And then after that, so met some friends out there who were from Chicago. They came out here and had their wedding here and moved back here. I was in that wedding. That was my first experience with Chicago. And then I loved it. It was in June, so I loved it. And
we made the switch.
Yeah. And then I think I moved here like a month later with the same company.
Hunter was here earlier speaking, and he played for the Bears, and there was a joke. The Northwestern won the Rose Bowl. They recruited the top kid from Hawaii. They said, why'd you pick Northwestern? He said, it's like Hawaii. There are beaches and water. So I said, have you been there any time besides summer?
Yeah.
So it does work. So you come here, you're excited about it, you're a hotshot sales guy.
Yeah.
Then you moved here with New Horizons?
Yeah, so I moved here with New Horizons, and then I stayed on with them probably for a couple years.
All right, so you're doing well, you're a top-ranked national sales guy. You're living the life here, it's beautiful, having fun.
Yep.
It's a great city to be young in. Why change? And why you change to?
Yeah, so it was just kind of the challenge after a while. It was...
what year is this?
Good question. It's probably about 2007.
Okay.
And wanted to do something different, just get the itch. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people experience that, and you want to be challenged.
Start a new company next week, so I get that.
So I actually left that job, had probably a 6-month stint at starting a new company of my own, which I didn't know enough yet. I wanted to start something. It wasn't an idea that I necessarily, it was still in the training space, so it was kind of like more of the same. I didn't have the fire for it that I probably needed to get it off the ground. And so that lasted for a little while, and then I ended up connecting with a company called Learn.com, which is enterprise software, and really liked the team there. And so that's where I was following that and just before starting